Welcome to the Resilient Schools podcast. I am excited to be here live at the Bridging to Resilience conference, and I have Jackie Gilby today. And Jackie is 32 years old. She spent 17 years of her life in foster care in abusive homes, couch hopping, and bus jumping. She found her biological family at 17 and followed their lead straight into an urban street mentality and ended up back in the trouble she had been running from. She spent the next 10 years in and out of jail, and her only survival skills were going back to the basics, which for her was being on her own and running the streets. She couldn't travel because in her active addiction, she had created a baby that she couldn't get too far from. She still did not have enough to fix the things that she needed to provide him a life. She knows more about the surviving the alleys of Wichita than she does this life, but she's here and she's killing it. So Jackie, that sounds like a pretty tough life growing up.
I didn't know any different. So for me, it wasn't tough.
Oh,
It's just how it was supposed to be.
that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Did you always think that way?
Maybe. And for a long time, I thought maybe something was broken inside of me. Maybe I didn't have the capability of having a negative mindset. Turns out I do. Turns out I do when I get in traffic. I have the worst road rage I've ever experienced out of any other human I know. But no, I've always had a really good mindset. Life has kind of just always been an adventure, no matter how bad it was. And I've enjoyed it, even the bad parts.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times we think that life should be a certain way. And then when it doesn't go how we think it should, then we're totally distraught and upset. And what I hear from people who had what most people consider a negative early life, they have more of an attitude that you have that, it may have sucked, but it was my life. I didn't know any different. What do you think the disconnect is there between people who maybe had a good young life and then experienced some struggles and people who had a tough young life and can see it for what it is, a learning experience?
This sounds really horrible, but the experience of working for the good stuff, nothing that I ever got easy did I appreciate. And I've gotten a lot of things easy, a lot of things. Since I got sober, I feel like lots of things have fallen into my lap, and I've taken a lot of those things for granted. But the things that I had to struggle through, my sobriety, my house, I own a home now. I used to say that I would never, ever in my entire life own a home because I didn't want my name on anything. Because there are some aspects that were negative in my childhood. I didn't think that getting a driver's license was a very smart idea. I watched my whole family get driver's licenses to lose them to DUIs or
Wow.
whatever other reasoning they would lose their driver's license. So I was like, that's pointless.
Yeah.
And as an adult, I got my driver's license at 30.
Wow.
I got my driver's license at 30, and I hit the getting my driver's license, and just everything else kind of fell into place after that. I bought my first house at 30.
Wow.
And for me, I was like, dang, I should have been doing this when I was 21. But it turns out not everybody just wakes up one day and buys a house.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. So what do you do for work now?
Right now I'm a AmeriCorps Vista at Step MC in McPherson, Kansas.
Okay.
And a little bit about Step MC, it's a nonprofit organization that helps people teach themselves how to get out of poverty. It stands for Steps to End Poverty. We pretty much, I feel a very big part of the organization, but we walk alongside people and build relationships with them in order to give them the support that they need to get out of poverty, rather than hey, here's money for your electric bill or your gas bill or your rent. This is going to help you. It doesn't actually. It just creates another cycle for people to come back and use the system again. But you can't take knowledge from someone. And once you have knowledge of the availability of each person that's there and willing to help you do the things, I didn't know how to get a driver's license.
Yeah.
I came to Step MC a few years back, not really even sure why. I just showed up because it was something to do, and I was in the middle of treatment and living in not assisted living, but it was a sober living environment. And I needed to fill my space up so that I didn't have room to go mess anything up.
Yeah.
And Step MC was one of those things. So it wasn't wholeheartedly that I joined that program. But when I did, people from the middle class were like, hey, well, we know how to do these things. I'll take you to the DMV. And they didn't do it for me. which was a huge difference. Like they were just like, this is the steps you take and this is what you have to do. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, now I have to do it on my own. Like I
Yeah.
learned how to call the doctor's office by myself, which was a whole nother experience on its own.
Yeah. How interesting. So you went there yourself when you were struggling. Now you work there and you help other people. So what are the things the steps that you tell them to get out of poverty?
So it's not really steps. Uh,
Wait,
yeah,
that's confusing.
yeah, it is. So like when you first join the program, you come in and you're part of the Getting Ahead group.
Mm-hmm.
And you build a community with the other people that are in the Getting Ahead group, and it kind of builds trust. And like, I don't know how many other people realize that that's exactly what's happening, but like, no one pays attention to the literature in Getting Ahead. Like,
Hmm.
no one. You're paying attention to who you can trust inside of that room and outside of that room, and who you're breaking bread with.
Mm-hmm.
And you build relationships with those people that would be of your community if you lived closer together with them.
Yeah.
And those people are probably the people you're going to trust more because they come from a similar background and they're in similar situations. So you're like, hey, this person's struggling with food. More likely you're going to have empathy for those people than you are the middle class people that are having dinner out with the other group. And once you go through, I believe it's like an 18-week program. I could be wrong. They changed it recently.
Okay.
Once you go through that class and you come out into the open and you join the next step, you get partnered with middle class people that have gone through Bridges training. And for whatever reason, everyone has their own story as to why they
Mm-hmm.
are there and why they're volunteering their time and why they want to break bread with you. And you become partners with them. And everybody's partnership looks different. I feel like my partners are super funny. They're very good by the book people. They went to school. They had a upper middle class lifestyle. They did college, had careers, and like now they're volunteering in the community. And like that's what you like seemingly see as the American dream. So like I put spice in their life. Because I'm a very goal driven person, and we have goal sheets that, we fill out and we like create SMART goals for ourselves and that we learned how to do in the Getting Ahead class. And we lay these goals out and like our partners are there for support, like not to give us all of the answers, just to kind of guide us through that. Like, so they're an intentional friend. Like you have a friend that's like, hey, you can't say that to those people.
Yeah.
Or you can't have that attitude, or maybe fix your face.
Yeah.
The magic that happens in that relationship, you kind of like give them a little bit more empathy towards your situation or like maybe other people's situation, because like we're both judgmental. Like it doesn't matter who you are. Everybody can come, like, I don't know. Everybody's come to me numerous times like I'm not judgmental, and I'm like, you're a liar then.
Yeah.
But we've all created judgment against the middle class. Like they don't understand. They have no feelings. They could never understand. Like they really can. It's just a matter of like having a sit down experience with someone else that doesn't live a life that you do. So I feel like I've spiced up their life and
Yeah.
also shown them, like we're not lazy. We're not lazy. I work 3 jobs. I'm not sure if I do it intentionally or if it's just works with my schedule because I have 2 kids. But I enjoy it. I enjoy everything that I do. I enjoy the way that I do it, and I enjoy the process that it takes for me to get to where I'm going. And I am goal oriented, and not everyone is built that way. So like they got it easy, I think, maybe as far as like having to like push me to have that drive. I get to like, I don't know, they're just somebody I can brag to and just be
Yeah.
like, hey, so remember that time when I was like, I'll never do this? Well, I did it.
Yeah.
And like they're so excited for me. And it's like just really good to have somebody that has your back that's really proud of you. And for whatever reason, it like puts this amazing inspiration in your life that like drives you to want to do more. I've seen people like go from not being homeless because that puts you in survival mode. So it's really hard to help you with the program if you're in survival mode. But being on the verge of being homeless, and I watched them go through this program, and like I have a friend that just bought a brand new car from the car lot.
Wow.
And I had sold her a car a couple of years ago that I was like, this is not going to last long.
Yeah.
It will probably break down next week, and I'm really sorry, but I need to get rid of this car
Yeah.
and you need something.
Talk to me a little bit about your goals. What are your long-term goals in 20 years? What are you thinking?
20 years? I don't think I've thought that far ahead.
Okay.
I want to be educated,
Okay.
which I'm working on. I'm an EdStack student also.
Okay.
I graduated EdStack couple years ago, thankfully.
Yeah.
I want to be educated. I don't know what I want to be educated in. I have no idea what I want to be when I grow up. I'm sitting
Yeah.
here at 32 years old.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a clue. I want to help people. I tore up this town that we're sitting in right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to have a hand in helping to fix something. I know I can't like save the world or, like climb from building to building and like
Yeah.
rescue people from trains or cars or anything like that. But like, I know that I have a part in just doing something to help with anything. And I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like there is something out there, some higher power that puts things in my pathway. It's just like, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
This is the next thing you're going to do. And I've gone with it in the last 5, almost 6 years, and it's worked out for me.
Yeah.
So,
What's really powerful is I talk to people from all walks of life and all kinds of backgrounds, and they keep coming back to that thing, that there's some sort of higher power that's putting things in my path. And when I follow what is put there, then I find success.
Right.
And that just keeps coming up again and again and again. And I just think that it's really powerful. And, some people say that it's God. Some people say it's the universe. Some people say it's the sage mind. Like,
right.
it doesn't matter what it is to
Right.
me. I think we're all talking about the same thing, just using different words.
I feel the same way.
And
That's
so
awesome.
it's like, you just listen to that voice. You just follow those promptings or impressions or feelings and do those things that it's guiding you to do what is right. And so your goal is to be educated, and you don't know what that's in, but what does that mean to be educated for you? Does that mean get a bachelor's degree?
It's honestly a piece of paper, but it's socially acceptable to be educated and
Yeah.
people listen to you. I
Yeah.
like talking. I love it. I have a story to tell. I have numerous stories to tell. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've done a lot of bad things and I've done a lot of good things. But I
Mhm.
know that when I open my mouth, people hear me.
Mhm.
And I know that they hear me because either they have someone close to them that's thought the same way or talked the same way, or they themselves have had the same issues, or they've struggled with the same struggles, or they've had the same excitements. But you get to a certain line where, like, when you're not educated, like, that just doesn't matter completely. And I want my kids to be educated. And that sounds really crazy, but I went back to school because my son tried to quit school in like kindergarten.
Mhm.
And I was like, I can't just be like, oh no, you can't quit. And he's like, you did.
Yeah.
So I went back to school. It took me like 3 times. Three
Yeah.
times. After I quit 9 times during my high school career, I came back to SDAC 3 separate times before I graduated. And I want to be the example for them that they need, because my goal for them is for them to just be a little bit better than I was. And they
Yeah.
don't remember everything that was bad. So I just want them to remember, like, hey, you got some shoes to fill.
Yeah. That's awesome. And that is really the hope and desire of every parent I've ever talked to. And what's funny is my dad told me that was his desire when I was like 15 or something. He's like, I just want you to be better than me. I was like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You're like 50 years old. You don't get it yet.
Right.
And now I'm like, oh my gosh, if my kids can be better than me, I would be amazed. That would
Right.
be great. If they're going to be worse than me, I'm going to feel like I failed them. Right.
Right.
And they're going to make their own choices, and that's all fine. But man, I hope that I can teach them everything they need to know, and so they can be better than me and not make the same mistakes that I did,
Right.
and have a life that is even more fulfilling. And my life is pretty fulfilling right now. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
I love my life and I feel so blessed, but I want them to have it even better. But I also know they have to go through hardships and struggle to learn those things.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that?
I believe that too. My oldest son is 10 years old, and like I said in my bio, like I know he's seen me in my active addiction. He doesn't really talk about it a whole lot because I abandoned him when he was about 2.5 years old. I thought that being a good mom in active addiction meant I didn't use or drink or anything like that in front of him. I didn't act out or act like a thug or do any of the thug things in front of him. So like that made me a good parent, which was not true. It wasn't. Looking back now, I did the best I could with what I had, which wasn't a whole lot. And I left him with his dad, who's also in active addiction. So my son has seen both of his parents in active addiction. He's seen people in and out of the house because it was a drug house. He's watched people shot. And I'm not saying that I'm proud of any of this, but like because of all of that, I carried my son with me the whole way through my recovery. So like
Mm-hmm.
he attends 12-step program just like I do. Well, like not for himself, but like
Right.
he comes along with me during the whole process. If he didn't have school, he would probably be here. He
Mm-hmm.
gets to be a part of both sides of it. So he gets to witness, not just myself. Like I'm not just this one miracle that happens. Like we're surrounded by them. And he's himself has gotten a little involved because like he's nosy and enthusiastic and he's a sensitive little sweet boy.
Mm.
And he'll 12-step you faster than you
Yeah.
realize. Like you won't even notice. He's just like, come let me help you. Let
Yeah.
me talk to you about
That's
your
awesome.
recovery. My daughter, on the other hand, she's 3 and she's a spitfire, and she's the one I worry about because she has never seen hardship. She has
Mm-hmm.
never seen failure. She came into this world whenever everything was looking up, and like the struggles that I have today are Cadillac problems. Like I don't have to worry about anything. Like I wake up in the morning and something goes wrong, there's a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
There's not only a backup plan, there's a backup plan to that backup plan. And now I have enough savings that I could just call somebody and be like, hey, there's this problem. Can I pay you for it?
Yeah.
Which sometimes I get hard headed and I'm like, no, I can fix this myself.
Yeah.
And like mainly, yeah, my kids got raised by 2 different moms,
Mm-hmm.
and still get raised by 2 different moms.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. I have like a million questions, Jackie. We don't have time to go into all of them,
right.
but I hear you talking about these things and the matter of fact way in which you're saying it, that there's not shame about it, but there's not pride about it either. It's just, it is what it is. This is what happened. And I'm sure that you do have feelings about it, but that's not coming across like it just is. And I think that's such a powerful approach to take. And even though you say your daughter hasn't experienced any failure, I'm sure things are not perfect, right?
Right now they are. That sounds really crazy. I try not to sound super egotistical when I say this, but like I am blessed and highly favored. Not a lot of things go wrong in my life right now. And if they do, it's because I can't see them because it's
Mm-hmm.
just something that like is so minute that the blessings kind of blind me to that. I live in a really nice house. My car is not brand new. My children are fed every day. They get up and they go to school with the backpack that they picked out that they wanted at the store. It didn't matter, like they get to pick out snacks for the refrigerator. And like, I don't know how to explain how big of a deal that is, but
Yeah.
like being able to get snacks to have in your home, but let alone like allowing your kids to pick out whatever snacks they want to. Like my kids aren't perfect and like I'm not a perfect mom. I'm winging it every day because I have
Mm-hmm.
2 different kids.
Yeah.
But it feels perfect. It feels like this imperfect, crazy, hectic life is exactly how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. That's so powerful. That's great. So somebody right now is listening to this saying, my life is not perfect. What would you say to them that they're struggling, they're feeling like they're not blessed? What would be your advice to them to fix it and make it feel like it is perfect?
Keep going. Do the scary stuff. The best things I ever did in life, I was scared to death. I hear all the time from like people that are in recovery or people that are trying to fix their lives or people that come out of domestic abuse. A lot of people that haven't experienced that. I hear them like, you can't have faith and fear at the same time. Like you can. Like that's exactly where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what courage is. And if you keep doing the scary things all the way until you feel like you can't do it anymore, that's when the miracle happens.
Yeah. That's so good. I love that. Okay. I think that's a good place to end it.
Perfect.
But Jackie, I feel like we should stay in touch
For
and
sure.
talk again. I'm excited to see where you go.